Antalya was the fourth most visited city in the world last year. When we lived here, it was an unbelievably affordable place to go on a holiday by Western standards. But things changed dramatically these past 2 years. Is it still an affordable destination for a holiday now? Let's find out. Right now is the high season for holidaymakers, it's the summertime, and Antalya is getting busy. We will see what kind of money you should expect to spend for eating out, both fast food and more expensive options. We will show you our apart hotel where we stayed, and we did like it a lot. Also a short overview of the groceries prices, as well as some basic Turkish clothing. You'll see how much is public transport and taxis are now, and as a bonus you'll see food prices at the domestic and international terminals at the airport, as well as duty-free prices for alcohol and cigarettes. Inflation in Turkey is still high, and I remember it was around 5 lira for $1, and these days it's around 30. Crazy, and we lived here for a year, but now it's just 1 week and we are on a holiday. I think it does tell you something that we spent here a whole year but still chose it as a holiday destination right now. Or maybe we just missed Antalya too much. Well, anyway, we fly into Turkey via Istanbul and right away have the first taste of current prices. At the domestic terminal in Istanbul, after check-in, you have a variety of choices if you're hungry. So naturally you expect higher prices compared to the same place in the city. Keep in mind, this is a domestic terminal. At the end of the video we will show you prices at the international terminal as well, and you might be surprised to see the difference. Here I got myself a water and an ayran, and if you haven't tried it, it's a salty drink that helps with rehydration and digestion, really important in this heat. We stayed in an apart hotel in a local neighborhood, Murat Pasha, and found a good deal for our accommodation, which I will show you later in the video. It was a really good looking neighborhood, very clean, with parks and fountains and recreational areas. But we did notice that most of the local fast food places and coffee shops were either closed down permanently or working only at set hours. We usually even struggled to find where to eat close to our apart hotel, and we were happy that we had an apartment with a kitchen. However, we finally did find a doner place, and prices there were a bit cheaper than in the same restaurants near Old City. The menu is only in Turkish and prices are on display, so this is how you know it's a trustworthy place catering to locals. So the prices would be fair and not just tourist prices. We ordered 2 portions of porsiyon tavuk, which is chicken meat, some vegetables and potato chips, as well as lavash bread on the side. For drinks we took water and ayran. I would say the price is what the locals are paying for fast food right now, because in the city center near Old Town and even at the food courts in the shopping mall, the prices we saw are higher. For example, here in the shopping mall, I ordered pasta with chicken and salad, and Renee got kumpir, a baked jacket potato with fillings. Overall, the portions are still big, tasty and filling like before, but they are noticeably more expensive than it used to be, even converted to euros or dollars. I would say almost 100% increase to a couple years back. Want to make the best out of your holiday in Antalya? Save yourself a headache of having to read countless outdated blogs to plan a holiday. Get my guide and avoid costly mistakes. For the price of an average meal, you are getting the best hotels, beaches, restaurants and daily tours. From visas and transportation to must-try foods and activities, everything is in one place for your convenience. Every activity, beach, restaurant and a hidden gem to explore, everything is organized in a way where you don't have to think where to go next. Everything you will be doing on the same day is organized in a way that you don't have to travel from one part of the city to another. Everything is close by. Gain access to my exclusive, ever-updating Google Maps list. Discover the hidden gems and best viewpoints in the city. Click the link in the description below and get my guide now for the best price. On another day, we went to one of our favorite locations in Antalya, Beach Park in Konyaaltı. And even though it feels like a lot has changed here in the recent 2 years, Antalya's seaside is just as beautiful and one can never get enough of these gorgeous views. I would say it's a must-visit place in Antalya, but be careful, you might just fall in love with it. It was time for lunch and we went down to the beach park to eat at one of our favorite restaurants in Antalya and check if it's still affordable. The location of this branch is just perfect, very close to the seaside with a beautiful view. And from what I read, to ensure customers are not scammed, there is a requirement now that the restaurants must have a printed menu on the table. Don't forget to check out my other tips about scams in Turkey. It's one of the most viewed videos on my channel right now. We got ourselves a cappuccino, a double espresso and a bottle of water for drinks. And I got noodles with chicken and vegetables. And Renee got a chicken quinoa bowl. The food quality here definitely stayed as good as before. Portions are big and filling, everything is fresh. But the prices did surprise us. I don't want to compare the prices in Turkish lira because of the inflation. But the prices in foreign currency, euro, dollar, British pound, are almost double. If I compare prices in this place to similar restaurants in Northern Europe, Netherlands or Germany for example, prices here in Turkey, I would say they are still lower. But definitely not as low as they used to be a couple years back. And let me know in the comments how it compares to prices in your country. We walked along the beach park and I noticed at one of the beach clubs the prices for the sunbed were on display, and again it's quite a noticeable increase. One scoop of ice cream costed me 30 Turkish lira, a bit less than €1. On another day we were walking along the beach searching for a place to have a cold drink, and in most cafes the prices for non-alcoholic drinks start at around 100-150 Turkish lira. But we did manage to find a place where we could just take drinks from the fridge and sit in the shade in a comfortable chairs and with an open sea view. Which proves that even in a very touristy location there are still good deals to be found, but you will have to look just a bit longer. And prices for the alcohol were always high in Turkey, and they are still high, even higher now. But, for example, if you want to save money, we saw a couple of shops at the beach park and you can see the price in alcohol in those shops. We even found a Vietnamese restaurant, and after spending a year in Da Nang, Vietnam and eating pho, a traditional noodle soup, for under €2, it felt crazy to see it was around €10 at this restaurant. But I do remember that in Turkey, Asian food were always quite expensive. Another great restaurant with an open-air seating, this time near Old City, and again it has an absolutely stunning view. Worth coming here just for the views. We had coffees and spinach gözleme, it's a savory Turkish stuffed turnover. And right in the Old City, next to the elevator, one of the recommended attractions with a scenic view, you can find a Turkish government restaurant. You can trust that the prices will be lower than usual. And considering that this is a prime location in the city, the prices are quite good. Now let's see what we can get in Antalya on a higher end. To celebrate my birthday, Renee invited me to a rooftop restaurant, and it is located in Lara neighborhood in a 5-star hotel. We've never stayed there, but we do love the location right next to the seaside with a couple of pools and a bar. The restaurant itself is quite pricey, as you would expect, and most of the main courses, for example, would start at around 1000 Turkish lira, and the drinks are quite pricey too. ordered sushi and a rice bowl, and because we weren't drinking alcohol, our bill was relatively low for a place like this. But if we did order alcohol, for example a bottle of wine, our bill would probably double or maybe even triple, depending on the drinks. But as I told you already, we stayed in an apart hotel which had a kitchen and several grocery shops within 5 minutes walking. So let's check out the prices in those shops. We were eating breakfast at the apartment every day, and we didn't do it just to save money, but mostly it's because it's just so convenient to quickly make breakfast and then you're ready to go. You don't need to search for a restaurant or spend time there waiting. We also made lunch, dinner a lot too, as most of the places where we stayed were closed down. So at the shop, every time we were spending around 500 to 700 Turkish lira, and we went there more or less every day. If you're staying not in an all-inclusive hotel, then most likely you will find small shops like that just around the corner with all the basics. Overall, after we saw this year's prices, we were happy we decided to stay at the apart hotel and be able to cook. But we do like to cook ourselves. We even did it in Asia. But I understand most of the people on a holiday don't want to do it. And I would recommend that either choose an all-inclusive hotel or adjust your budget accordingly, because you will be spending quite more money in the restaurants. Can I come in?
Come in.
So this is our apartment in Antalya for a whole week, and we have a big fridge and an actual kitchen. I would say that's a trademark of Turkey, that even in an apart hotel you already have a well-equipped kitchen. Like we have a gas stove with like 4 pieces. So we have an oven. We didn't use it, of course, for a week. Like all kinds of cutlery and things, like cutlery, dishes, frying pan, everything to cook. And also the dishwasher, which we have been missing a lot. But for Turkey it feels like this is a standard. Like this is not over the top something, this is a standard for an apartment or an apart hotel. And there is also this really nice couch, a big one. Yeah, and we have the TV and quite a lot of storage space. These are our bags that have been with us for a year and a half, the nice level 8 ones. If you want them too, I will give a link in the description. So let's proceed to the bathroom. First of all, it has the washing machine, which is perfect because even on a week-long holiday it helps us. The heater, the water heater is here, so the shower is all good. Yeah, everything else is standard and it's working, not smelly, not nothing. So I would say value for money. There is no balcony, unfortunately, but the window view is to the neighbors, but there is enough space, so I think it's nice. Enough sunshine comes in, sunlight. Let's check out what's happening on the street. You can hear the birds chirping. You don't really hear much traffic. And right there's already a grocery shop and another one right here. From here we can see this nice park where we've been walking every day. And you can see it's a really nice neighborhood, very clean, no danger. But if you want to be swimming every day, it's a bit far. It's like 35 minutes on foot to the beach and back. But it's located like 10-minute walk from the train station, and that train station takes you to the old city, to the city center where the shopping is, and the Kaleiçi old city, and the same line goes all the way to the airport. So I would say it's quite good connected. But also hotels in Kaleiçi in old city will be pricier, expect that, and they are certainly much pricier than 2-3 years ago. So, but we did check that all-inclusive deals for people coming from Europe are still relatively good. So you might want that. But if you're an adventurer and want to venture in the city and want to stay somewhere not necessarily too close to the beach, I think this is a really good deal if you book ahead. And then you can save up on the expensive prices at restaurants, because right now they are basically European prices. Expect that. And this is the bedroom. It is a small one, but well, good sized. There's a mirror, full-size mirror, and a place to store your clothes. So that's all good. And the window. You can also see that there is enough sunshine coming in. Yeah, quite some lunches we've been cooking ourselves, making ourselves. Like, for example, the traditional Dutch lunch. What is it, Renee? I can see the cheese. I can see bread. Yeah, that's a traditional Dutch lunch, dinner, whatever you want it to be.
Are you trying to make fun of Dutchies?
Yeah, and this cheese, this packet of cheese, 200-gram piece and 129 Turkish lira. So local cheeses are of course much cheaper, but if you want something like Gouda cheese, then...
So we came into a discussion, what's the right pronunciation? And I said, the only right way to say Gouda is the Dutch way, Gouda, because it's from a city in the Netherlands. So Gouda is a city in the Netherlands, and that's also where the cheese originally comes from and is made. And now it's distributed all over the world. So, for the people who didn't know, Gouda, you say Gouda.
I will give a link to this hotel in the guide. Check out the link in the description. How much did you pay, Renee?
265 euro.
And by now it's a good, really good deal.
But I booked it 3 months ago or something like that.
3 months ahead. Turkey has long been known as an excellent destination for affordable, good quality, basic clothing. There are big shopping malls in Antalya, and I will have a list of them in the guide. But what about the prices? Are they still a bargain? We went to Mark Antalya Mall for a couple of basic items, and one of the popular Turkish brands is LC Waikiki. It's similar price quality range as Primark in Europe. Baggage like this, by the way, lasts only 1 or 2 trips because wheels break down. We experienced it ourselves. And I got a more expensive one now, but it's lasted for a year and around 10 trips already, and it's still in good condition. So in the end, it's actually cheaper to buy a more expensive one. Overall, prices are almost double and now comparable to what you see in Primark or H&M in Europe. So if you need something on a holiday, you can still get it for an okay price for the quality, but it's no longer a bargain. So what we got in the end was a linen shirt and a cotton t-shirt for Renee. Now let's see what are the transportation prices. I would recommend that you use only official yellow taxis that go by the meter. There is no taxi app in Antalya, but you will most likely see these taxi buttons next to your hotel or other popular locations in the city. You need to press it and then wait for the car to arrive. The meter right now starts at 20 Turkish lira, and from airport to our apart hotel near the city center we paid 460 Turkish lira for a 25-minute drive. And from apart hotel to the restaurant in Lara we paid 265 Turkish lira. It was also 25 minutes. The time was similar, mostly because of the traffic, and the distance to the airport was about twice as long as to the restaurant. So I hope it gives you some idea how much money you should be spending on taxis. Antalya also has buses and trams, which are modern and quite a convenient way to travel. In the city center you can buy and top up a card easily with cash. We already had cards from the time we lived in Antalya, and the funny thing that happened is when we used the card for the first time on the trip, the charge was 15 Turkish lira, but already the next day it was 20 Turkish lira. So just like that, we saw the price go up. I really recommend taking advantage of public transport in Turkey, as taxis are known to be the biggest scammers, especially in Istanbul. And watch my video about scams in Turkey if you want more tips about transportation. And now we are leaving Antalya, and the last stop is the airport. If you want to snack and shop at the international airport, get ready to face reality. All the prices are in euro, and they are quite higher than you used to in Turkey. Even a bottle of water is already 2.5 euro. And something we forgot is to exchange money, and we had some Turkish lira left. Before customs there is an exchange office, but there is none after that. Duty-free tobacco and alcohol prices are quite higher than in the city, but don't forget that there is a limit on how much you can carry as well. And before you go on your holiday in Turkey, don't forget to watch my video about 9 things not to do when in Turkey.